Hello, hello. This is Rob.
And this is Jeremy.
Jeremy 2.
Jeremy 2.
Electric Boogaloo is back.
I like the reference.
So before we get started, we're on show 80. We're going to do a little, our first segment, Give It a Listen. And this is Courtney Hadwin with her new single, Spellbound. Here we go. Okay.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I almost feel like it's got like a little bit of a punk vibe or a 90s type.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. And I tried to get more of the song, but it's not, that's all she's posted so far.
Oh, wow.
I don't even have an album title. I don't even have a date for her first album. So that was Courtney Hadwin, and that was Spellbound. And she's putting out her first full-length studio album. She's 20 years old. Now, maybe people recognize the name, Courtney Hadwin. She was in the finals on America's Got Talent in 2019. And she was 13 years old.
Wow.
When she auditioned with the Otis Redding song, Hard to Handle, which you got to check it out if you... Check out her audition for 13. She's belting out.
Being 13 and trying to do Otis Redding, that's impressive.
Oh, yeah. And she just blew away the judges. I think Simon Cowell said bloody hell or something after it. And she got the golden buzzer. Now, I don't know, Jeremy, if you watch America's Got Talent or if you've watched it.
I have, yes.
So the golden buzzer means you don't need to compete until you get to the finals. So Howie gave her the golden buzzer. And then one of the songs in the finals, she got to perform with the band The Struts, which is, I think they're an English band, but they're not huge, but, you know, they've been around a little while. Now, I've been following her career for a couple years now, I think since she appeared on Instagram and she started putting out singles. So she's only put out singles the last couple of years. So this is the first, I think this is going to be big, this album, because just based on that first song, she's got just a powerhouse of a voice.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm very excited because Jeremy 1 and I are going to, we have an interview set up with Courtney in a week or so. So
I'm jealous. It should be Jeremy, both Jeremys.
Well, you can come over. We only have 2 chairs though, so you'll have to sit
I'll
on
stand
chairs
or something.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that. And we were only given, he said Monday to Thursday. That's all we were given. So and Jeremy 1 got a new job and he's working weird hours, so he actually has off Monday. So I had to grab the interview while I can, because too many times I've tried to get someone and then all of a sudden they're on Jimmy Fallon.
You want to get them first.
The one band I got, or the lead singer, was from a band called Thumpasaurus. They're a LA funk band.
I like the name.
And they had this song called Struttin' out. And when I saw they had a song in a Verizon commercial, and I'm like, okay, I got to try and get this guy, because they could become huge, which they didn't, but
not yet.
And a week later, I was interviewing the guy, and then I think it was maybe a year later. It was I don't think it was this past summer, but the summer before. Jimmy Fallon posted, he had this old machine. It's a fortune telling machine. Forget the guy.
Like the Zoltar.
Zoltar, that's what it was.
Something. Yep.
And he said, Zoltar, what's the song in the summer? And they play Strut, and I'm like, oh, okay. Now we're talking, you know. And a month later, they were on the show, a month or two later. And I thought they'd become bigger, but Thumpasaurus, I got to interview him. And the other person I was trying to get is Grace Bowers, who last year I first found out about her through BB Buell, posted that she was backstage at some show, and there were these two girls. The one girl was playing guitar, and I looked her up, and she plays blues guitar, and she was, how old was she? She was like 16, 17, a couple of years ago. And it was last year. It was early in the year. And I got in contact with her publicist and I was told, you know, I'll let you know, I'll check her schedule, and never got the interview. And she was just at the Grammys.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like you can't be 16 and playing the blues. Like you got to be 60 or something.
She got a call from Chris Martin's manager, and he wanted her to play guitar during the what do they call it? Memorum.
Like the in memoriam thing.
In memoriam, there you go.
Yep.
So she played guitar while Chris Martin was playing the piano. There was a violin player, and at the Grammys. So I don't know if I can still get her.
Oh, you never know.
Yeah. So back to Courtney Hadwin. So this single comes out, the entire song, what you just heard, February 21st. And you can get more info on her website. And it's Courtney-HadwinOfficial.com. If you go to CourtneyHadwin.com, it's like two guys that it looks like they into forestry or something. I don't know what's going on there.
they're what is that, cyber squatting or something like that? And
they're cutting trees and I don't know, making stuff, I think. And I want to thank Oliver. I always butcher people's names. Modeha, Modeha. Modeha. Total Artist Management. He gave us permission to play that song. So.
What's his name? Oliver?
Oliver.
All right. Well, thank you, Oliver.
Yeah. And Courtney's, we're going to be talking to her from England. She, I don't know, whereabouts in England. So she'll be 5 hours ahead of us. Okay. So we're going to take a little break, and we're going to come back with album anniversaries. Here we go. And just like that, we're back.
And we're back.
So just like Jeremy 1, Jeremy 2, Jeremy Hirsch, by the way, he's going to start off with music news. And this time we're covering 1965, 75, 85, and then I have a couple mentions from 95 without news or anything. So Jeremy, you got some news from 1965. Were you even around?
I was not. February. Do I look like I'm 60 years old? I'm close, but
I wasn't around either. But at the end of the year, I was around. Yeah.
February 6th, 1965. Should I do like a deep voice? Should I do that? Donovan performs the first of 3 performances on the British television program Ready, Steady, Go. This presents him to a widespread audience for the first time. Something like that.
That's a little
too much.
I just do your regular.
We'll dial it back a little bit. All right.
Yeah. Dial that back.
On February 12th, 1965, NME reports that the Beatles will star in a film adaptation of Richard Condon's novel, A Talent for Loving. The story is about a 2,253 kilometer, that's 1,400 miles for us Americans, horse race that takes place in the Old West. Sadly, the film is never made. And on February 24th, more Beatles news. The Beatles begin filming their second film, Help.
And I have an album. This is from This came out February 13th, 1965. And it's Herman's Hermits.
Ooh, good band.
And this is their debut. As was typical of the time, the album's contents were different on the UK and US releases. And UK albums tended not to include singles on the album. So the success of Herman's Hermits' first single, I'm Into Something Good, is a number 1 in the UK and only number 13 on the US Billboard Hot 100. And it led to the US release of their first album, of course, in February 65. Album climbed to number 2 on the Billboard chart in the week in which the Hermits had 3 singles in the national top 20. And then the LP spent 4 consecutive weeks at number 2, 3 of them overlapping with the 3-week run of Mrs. Brown, You've Got a Lovely Daughter, at number 1 on the singles chart.
You want me to start to sing that?
No, that's okay. Let's see. The album was released in the UK. It wasn't released in the UK until September 65. And the UK version featured both Mrs. Brown, You Got a Lovely Daughter, and I'm Henry the Eighth I Am. And no, I don't want to sing that.
Oh, come on. I was just about to.
In his retrospective review of the album's release, Richie Unterberger for AllMusic gave the album a modest response by saying, since those are the first songs on the album, it's a letdown thereafter, since the oldies aren't very creative or, in comparison to the better British invasion groups, forcibly performed, and the pop numbers sound like filler Mercy Beat. Didn't like the album. Now there's three different covers for the US album. And I'm sure people who collect vinyl have all 3. I do not. And I think that's all the 3 different one had a sticker on it, one didn't, that I don't think that's a variation, but anyway.
Was it one of those like parental
like
guidance
sticker.
thing? No.
Yeah. And then also noteworthy is in February 65, the girl group, the Shangri-Las, released their debut album, Leader of the Pack.
Of course.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, now we're on to February 75, and Jeremy has more music news.
More music news, February 1975.
What's going on back then?
That was only a few years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
February 13th, 1975, the film Slade in Flame, starring the members of Slade, premieres at the Metropole Theatre in London. I think that's Metropole? Maybe it's Metropole? I don't know how you pronounce that.
See if that's on Blu-ray.
Yeah. I've never, everybody knows Slade, but I've never heard the movie.
Yeah.
So. And on February 24th, 1975, John Lennon. I feel like he was in a band. What band was he in?
I think he was in the Stones.
It's the Rolling Stones. Right.
Yeah.
John Lennon releases his rock and roll LP featuring his favorite rock songs from the 1950s. To promote the album, he conducts a telephone interview with 20 rock radio stations simultaneously.
Wow.
I can't imagine them all yelling questions out at one time.
Yeah. 20 stations at a time. So the album that I want to talk about is Led Zeppelin, one of my favorite bands. Probably one of the first rock. It is the first rock band I ever liked, ever loved. And this is their 6th album, Physical Graffiti. The album was released as a double album on February 24th in the United States and the 28th in the United Kingdom. It's only 4 days later in the UK. It was the group's first album to be released under their new label Swan Song Records. And the band wrote and recorded 8 new songs for the album in early 1974 at Headley Grange Country House in Hampshire. Hampshire, which gave them ample time to improvise arrangements and experiment with recording. The total playing time covered just under 3 sides of an LP, so they decided to expand it into a double album by including previously unreleased tracks from the sessions for the band's earlier albums, Led Zeppelin 3, 4, and Houses of the Holy. And the album covered a range of styles, including hard rock, progressive rock and roll, and folk music. The album was then mixed over the summer of 1974 and planned for an end-of-year release. However, its release was delayed because the Peter Corsten designed die-cut album cover proved difficult to manufacture.
It's got all those great songs we used to groove to back then.
What the heck? Yeah, it did. Thank you. So it was commercially and critically successful upon its release and debuted at number 1 on the album charts in the UK and only number 3 in the US. It was promoted by a successful US tour and a 5-night residency at Earl's Court, London. So a couple of the songs, I like this whole album. You know, it's Led Zeppelin. Come on. And I just recently got the vinyl. It's reissued vinyl.
They do anything special?
Remastered. Well, I don't know how many times they can remaster things.
They remaster the master?
Yeah. 10 years from now, they'll remaster. It'll be a new remaster. But Jimmy Page had a lot to do with the remastering of the recent ones, you know. They came. I don't know when. The one I have, I think, it didn't just come out. Probably 10 years ago, maybe. I remember they reissued all on CD and vinyl. I think they reissued all of them. Like 3 also has the dial, you know. So they did them exact. You know, Physical Graffiti is the cutouts. You know, it's not like they just went cheap, you know.
Right, they went all out.
Cut corners, yeah.
Good for them. That's what fans want.
Yeah. So, like, a couple of the songs, that Trampled Underfoot, Custard Pie, of course, Down by the Seaside, I like that song, 10 Years Gone, are on this album. Now, February 75, we have a couple honorable mentions. Olivia Newton-John, big fan.
Oh,
I'm not lying. Have You Ever Been Mellow? Oh, is she here?
You have her album over there?
Oh, yeah. Let's Get Physical.
There it is, yep.
That's one we don't talk about. No, I'm just kidding. Rush, Fly By Night. This is all February 75. Their second album. AC/DC, High Voltage. Their debut. AC/DC also debuted. And Alice Cooper debuted his solo album, Welcome to My Nightmare.
Oh, good one.
And mentioned earlier, John Lennon, rock and roll. So now we're at February 85. And what was going on there? Not a lot.
So on Valentine's Day, February 14th, 1985, Whitney Houston released her debut album. And on February 26th, 1985, the 27th annual Grammy Awards were presented in Los Angeles, hosted by John Denver. Lionel Richie's Can't Slow Down won Album of the Year, while Tina Turner's What's Love Got to Do With It, I'm not going to sing that, won both Record of the Year and Song of the Year. And do you know who the best new artist was?
I do, because I have it here.
Oh, okay. It was Cyndi Lauper, who I have seen in concert a couple times, and she is absolutely wonderful.
I've never seen.
Despite being a big heavy metal fan, I also love Cyndi Lauper, and she is just great.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to see her.
I think she's doing like a farewell tour now, like finishing touring and stuff like that. I've also seen, my wife and I have been a couple of times when she did the Home for the Holidays concerts in New York City in December, and she would get big stars there, like big people like Jackson Browne, Billy Corgan. They would come on set. They do like 2 or 3 songs. Sometimes she'd join in.
Wow.
Absolutely fantastic. They have comedians doing stuff. Great shows that she used to do.
Nice. So let's see, album. I actually have it under the chair here. Hold on.
Oh, I saw that before. I was wondering what that was doing under there.
Yeah, we got Phil Collins, No Jacket Required. This is the original I have. It's not a remaster. And this is his 3rd studio album. So after finishing a tour with Genesis and working with Eric Clapton in 1984, Phil resumed his solo career and started work on a new album. He made a conscious decision to write more up-tempo and dance-oriented songs, as much of his previous material was influenced by matters surrounding his first divorce. So the album features Helen Terry, Peter Gabriel, and Sting as guest backing vocalists. Now, who is Helen Terry?
I don't know.
What I could find was she's the backing vocalist for Culture Club.
Okay.
I didn't know they had a backing vocalist, but some songs like Don't Lose My Number and Sussudio were based around improvisation. Improvisation. There you go. See, that's why I have it. See, I couldn't do this podcast by myself. Others like Long, Long Way to Go had a political message. So the album was received favorably by the majority of critics and was a huge worldwide commercial success. I lost my place there. There we go. Reaching number one in the UK for 5 consecutive weeks and for 7 non-consecutive weeks in the US. They liked it. They didn't like it. They liked it.
Oh, maybe this is still 1985, right? So maybe Whitney Houston's album popped up there or something.
Maybe. So it was the second best-selling album of 1985 in the UK, behind Dire Straits' Brothers in Arms.
Another good album.
And it won 3 Grammy Awards, including Album of the Year. The No Jacket Required tour saw Collins perform 85 concerts, which culminated with a performance at both Live Aid shows in London and Philadelphia. I remember that.
I do too. Wow, that was that long ago.
We actually interviewed someone a couple years ago that was there performing, and Phil was on drums.
Wow, who was that?
Marcy Levy, her name is. And she was on 4 Eric Clapton albums.
Okay.
So she sang with Eric Clapton, and Phil was on drums. Yeah. Whenever you hear a female voice, like the core, a female starts singing that song, that's her.
That's her?
Yeah. She also helped write, what was it? Lay Down Sally.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Classic song.
So let's see here. Some of the songs emerged from Collins, like we said, improvisation. There we go. With a drum machine, including One More Night and Sussudio. Collins started singing One More Night to an attempt of making a beat similar to the Jacksons. Similar to the, I don't know, it says the Jacksons. And improvised Sussudio, which I've heard about. You know,
I've heard that also. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. He tried to replace the lyric with another phrase, but decided to keep it that way, leading to lyrics about a schoolboy crush on a girl at his school. Let's see. Another song created mostly through, oh my God, there's this word again. Improvisation. Don't Lose My Number. Collins has stated that he does not fully understand the meaning of the lyrics in that song. Yeah, it's kind of a strange song.
It always helps if you don't know what your own song is about.
And then, of course, we mentioned Sting. He provides backing vocals.
And he also did backing vocals on the Dire Straits album, which you just mentioned before.
Yeah.
Right? He did it on, it was on that album, I think.
Yeah, Money for Nothing.
Yep.
So Sting and Phil first met through Band Aid, and they later performed, of course, together in Live Aid. Let's see. And Doesn't Anybody Stay Together Anymore is another song which he was making a personal message. The song was made in response to everyone around him getting a divorce, I guess including himself, including his manager, friends. Now, the album is named after an incident. I don't know if we know about this. At the Pump Room restaurant in Chicago. Phil entered the restaurant with former Led Zeppelin lead vocalist Robert Plant.
It's a power duo.
And Phil was denied oh my God, admittance. You're gonna let me struggle, because he did not meet the restaurant's dress code of jacket required for dinner.
They didn't have an extra jacket around?
I guess not.
I've been to places, I mean, not in a long time, but like in the 80s and 90s, where if you went in without a jacket and a jacket was required, oh, sir, here, maybe you'll feel more comfortable wearing this jacket. And they've got like a blue blazer for you or something.
Well, apparently he was wearing a jacket, and he argued about it. And the maitre d' argued that the jacket was not proper. I don't have that sound effect.
Proper. Proper.
After the incident, he went on several talk shows and denounced the restaurant.
Oh.
And retold the story and how angry he was about it. So the management of the restaurant later sent him a complimentary sport coat and an apology letter.
That's nice.
Stating that he could come to the restaurant wearing whatever he wanted.
and that should have been their response the first time around.
And luckily he didn't show up wearing, like being nude or something. So this is Phil Collins' highest selling album. This is the thing. I get this stuff off of Wikipedia.
Right.
But they need to update some of this stuff, or someone does. So it says the album has sold over 12 million as of 2001.
Oh.
Come on. It's 24 years ago. It's got to be at least at 13 million now. Yeah.
I'm sure it still sells regularly.
And, I just bought it again.
Oh, you see? There you go.
I don't know how many times this album was purchased. I probably got it for like $5. So, we mentioned earlier Whitney Houston, her debut album, which had the songs How Will I Know and Saving All My Love for You. Also, Tears for Fears.
Oh.
Second album, Songs from the Big Chair. Big album with Shout, Everybody Wants to Rule the World. I had that album. And then I wanted to mention some from 95. The last podcast we went into, what did we do? We did the year 2000. And Jeremy was happy because...
Jeremy won.
Because he's a lot younger than me. So he's like, oh, this is my decade or something. He's not that young, but he's...
Kids these days.
He's in his 30s, I won't give his age, but... So there's, I'll mention some from 1995, and this is February, of course. All in one month, we had Jewel, Pieces of You, which was her debut. Blink 182, which nobody, and Tracy Lords.
What?
Yeah. So Jewel's album...
She sings?
Jewel's album was a huge success, right? And it would take a couple more albums before Blink 182 became big. And as for Tracy Lords, I have here, this was her only album having only sold 10 copies. No, I made that up.
I wouldn't surprise.
But it is her only album. Yeah.
Was she on the cover?
Yeah.
They probably sold a few more than 10.
I think she was wearing clothes, and that's why it didn't sell.
Oh, well, that'll do it. Got to know your audience.
Yeah. Oh, what happened to my keyboard? Okay, so next up, what do we have? We talking reissued albums. And again, we're going to take a little break, and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. So I wanted to talk about some reissues, re-released because of anniversaries, some of them. But The Pretty Reckless, I don't know if you know that band.
Oh, of course. Yeah, they're a really good band. Was it Taylor Momsen? Is that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
See, I know
she
my
was in The Grinch.
Yep, I know my Pretty Reckless.
Okay. And I'm pretty happy because Jeremy, One, and I are going to see AC/DC.
What?
Yeah.
When? Where?
in Landover, Maryland.
Wow.
It was like bucket list thing. Never seen them. Probably, I would say it's their last tour.
Probably.
There's not many shows they're doing. And we got floor seats. We're in the back. And I kind of swore off stadiums, but we had to make an exception.
Of course. For AC/DC, absolutely.
And I've really toned down going to concerts. I remember a couple years ago, I went to 15, it doesn't sound like a lot, but 15 concerts in a year. So it was almost one every month, or more than one every month. And now that's the only one I have planned right now. There's a couple that we have to see if we're going to go to. Like Creed, I can see.
My wife just got me tickets to go see Warrant and Firehouse.
Really?
I think in at the casino in Bethlehem in April.
Oh, Wind Creek! I love Wind Creek.
I mean, not that I'm like a huge fan of either band, but what the heck? It's 80s rock. And
have you been to Wind Creek?
I have a long time ago. Well, not a few years ago.
That's the place I go to all the time. I've probably been to 25 concerts there, and I want to see Joss Stone. She's an English singer. And Melissa Etheridge is opening, who I saw in Kentucky.
Oh, nice.
At a music fest. And
Melissa Etheridge is opening up for somebody else?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I think she'd be a headliner.
And she was at this music festival in September in Kentucky. And I'd never seen her before. And it was nice because it was a huge festival called Bourbon and Beyond. Outdoor. The 2 nights we were there, 40,000 people.
Wow.
Just out and outside. And and it was an experience. 90 degrees.
Oof.
No shade. Anyway, but it was nice because each band played like 3 or 4 songs. They were only on for like 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to see a lot of bands like Matchbox 20, Beck. I saw Sting. Just a wide array of people.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. Anyway, so back to the what I was saying is that Pretty Reckless is opening. The reason I mentioned AC/DC, they're opening for AC/DC.
Good for them.
So I'll get to see them because I've never seen them. But they're reissuing already 10th anniversary, Going to Hell. It's the 10th anniversary hardback coffee table book plus the vinyl. It says celebrate a decade of going to hell with this exclusive 10th anniversary collector's item. Features include a linen wrapped cover with an debossed logo, a stunning 32-page spread of rare behind the scenes photos, and exclusive vinyl colors like opaque plum purple and opaque beige vinyl.
All right.
For $70. It seems like every week there's something. And, I'm also trying to not spend as much money as I used.
I was going to say,
because as you can see, the room we're in, like, I have over 600 albums in here. Like, those over there are all they're new albums on the bottom or reissued. These are used over here. I don't want to mix the two.
It's like vinyl's big again.
Yeah. But it gets expensive. Record Store Day, which they have like 3 or 4 times a year. These albums are like, they're like $30 now, $40. And then this album celebrating 50 years since its release, and it's Wings, their 4th studio album, Venus and Mars. And you can now pre-order. It's a special half-speed mastered anniversary edition.
What does that mean?
Well, I guess you get more sound out of it if it's, some of the vinyl. I have, I think it's. Well, I have a couple, but one I can think of right now is Bruce Springsteen. Western Stars is 2 albums, and it originally came out as 1 album, but it's 45 RPMs each side.
Okay.
So I guess you can get more sound quality than the regular 33 1/3. Let's see. Now the price on this is $37.98. And the album is presented as a meticulous reproduction of the original UK pressing with recreations of the original Venus and Mars Are All Right Tonight circular sticker you get.
Ooh.
And comparative sizes of Sun and Planets bookmark sticker. Comes with 2 posters, like we need posters.
You might.
Yeah, come on. Who's buying this Wings album and putting poster? Oh. Well,
I was going to say, you've got... Yeah.
Yeah. The iconic album artwork by Hypnosis. Okay, it's HIP. That's what's throwing me off. Hypnosis has been meticulously recreated and presented in a gatefold sleeve. And there's also 2 other combos if you have more money to spend. There's all the items in the first package plus a shirt, and you have the planets on the front, Venus and Mars, and the word Wings is on the sleeve, and on the back, Jeremy, it says it's all balls. I'm not lying.
Is it like from Fletch? It's all ball bearings nowadays.
It's all balls.
It's all balls,
and that's $69.98.
I feel like this is like an infomercial. How much would you pay for this?
I just want the
shirt. $80.
I think you can just buy the shirt.
Just the shirt sounds good.
Yeah, it's all balls. And then for $73.98, you get all that and more.
And more.
And you get another poster and a slip mat for your turntable.
Wow.
Yeah, a little, yeah.
Order now. Operators are standing by.
And go to paulmccartney.com for all the info. And his site is pretty cool because there's a lot of info on their articles on the site. I think he does. I want to say he does. I know I get email from Paul, not personally, but from his site. And he either does a podcast or something where he talks about certain songs, or he's been doing that for a while. Like Robert Plant has a podcast, most people don't know, and it's only like 15, 20 minutes.
Oh, that's great.
Because he talks about certain songs, like how they were written.
I mean, I guess overall those prices aren't too bad considering all that you're getting for it.
Yeah.
But how do you know, maybe this can be a silly question, how do you know what size the t-shirt is?
I think you can pick the shirt.
You just pick the album goes by like shirt size?
There's probably a drop down.
Like what shirt? Okay.
I've done those.
I hope so.
Well, I did one with...
it's not just, you're not just walking into a store,
well, I guess. I did one with... it was Cheap Trick, but it was a concert. And it was backstage, meet and greet. Mm-hmm. And then you get a shirt. You get a laminate or whatever. That was funny because I was wearing the shirt when I met them. And we took the picture, I'm walking away, and Rick Nielsen goes, "Hey, is that a new shirt?"
Why, yes, it is.
Yeah, that was funny. And then lastly, this is a big one now. This will cost you like a lot of money. It's Rush.
Oh, I'm actually in the middle of reading Geddy Lee's
I have
autobiography.
That book.
Have you read it yet?
No,
it's really good.
If you go on I don't know if maybe it's the Rush website. There's a hat. I have too many hats. I'm not actually wearing. This is the first time I'm not wearing a hat.
That's why I wore a hat. I figured you'd be wearing a hat too.
But there's a hat on there, and I think on the back it says "My effing hat." And I want to get. And on the front, I think it's some logo he has. I think I can't remember. Probably something to go with the book. I would say. So anyway, Rush is releasing Rush 50. So on March 21st, UME, Mercury, and Anthem Records label groups celebrate the half-century milestone marker for Rock and Roll Hall of Fame icons with Rush 50, a wide-ranging 50-track super deluxe anthology that encompasses the entirety of the band's long and storied career. Oh my God. Sorry, my tablet's glitching.
I'm already thinking to get that meme with, take my money.
Yeah. And this is for the first time all across the band's label groups I guess, obviously different record labels are all coming together to put this together. Those three that I mentioned. It's bookend with the first ever reissue of their debut 1973 single, live recording of the last song ever performed together as a band at their final concert in 2015. And
It's got all those great songs we used to groove to back then.
yeah, it does.
Awesome.
Did I play that before?
You did. That's okay.
It'll be available to fans in 5 distinct configurations, of course, including the Super Deluxe Edition. Now, here we go again. Now, these aren't posters, but they're lithos.
Ooh.
20. Do we need 20?
Maybe.
Illustrating one song from each studio album.
Well, look, if you're a big Rush fan, you put them all up on your wall.
If you don't have 600 other albums, I guess. If you only have like 10 albums. You get a 100-page hardcover book, The Fullness of Time. A brand new graphic novel by Fantunes. Storytelling a conversation by Getty and Alex, reminiscing on the trials, tribulations, and successes recording each studio album in comic book form. Now the price. Do you have a guess, Jeremy, on this?
You said there were different, like 5 different versions or something?
Well, this is the first. This is the deluxe.
Is this the cheapest or the most expensive?
This is the most expensive.
$350.
You're close. $374.98.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
I was going with the discount.
That is not a nice price, by the way.
Take my money.
Then we have the 7 LP deluxe edition. And besides the 7 LPs, there's a 104-page hardcover book. Says features new Hugh Syme, that's the guy's name, 50th anniversary artwork, along with stunning new song illustrations, photos, and liner notes by renowned rock journalists David Frick and Philip Wilding. That's $249.98.
What the frick?
Yeah. And then there's a 4 CD deluxe edition. And it does come with the book. It's $99.98. It's getting more affordable.
Mm-hmm.
There are pint glasses they have, which I have too many pint glasses to. $15. That's a good price. There's a $25 coffee mug. This all goes with the 50 theme. There's a 3-pack of socks.
Ooh.
For $50.
Rush socks.
Those are more than Nike, by the way, I think. 3-pack, $50.
That is
Nike's
a little
like
pricey.
$35, I think. And there's a limited edition pin set. And again, who needs...
to put...
we're two older guys
to put on your battle jacket. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Okay, 15 is the minimum. Okay?
Okay.
15 pins. 15 flares, that movie.
Yep.
So 14 pins. It's in a nice display box. $74.99.
Now, you mentioned they have pint glasses. Do they have shot glasses? Because I do collect shot glasses.
No, because
No shot-
I would have been interested in that too.
Right.
I don't have a couple of shot glasses. I mean, come on. If you're having trouble, finding a girlfriend, mention you own this nifty pin set. Women love pins, Okay, so we are heading towards our last segment. And these are new releases, new songs. Okay? And
Sounds good.
We'll see if Jeremy's been listening to anything
See
new.
if I've even heard of any of these people.
Yeah, or if he's still listening to his Jethro Tull 8 tracks or something. I don't
Jethro
know.
Tull, new album.
Yeah. Oh, that's in here. Yeah. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, and just like that, we're back.
And we're back.
I'm going to have a little water first, so Jeremy can tell us what he's been listening to lately.
What am I listening? On the way here, I listened to the band whose shirt I'm wearing, Visigoth. is
I've never heard of them.
they are a metal band out of Salt Lake City, Utah, and I would say they're kind of like a classic 80s metal band.
Okay.
I mean, they're a new band, relatively new. But, you know, they sing about, they've got songs about like fantasy and stuff. Like the first song I ever heard of theirs was called Dungeon Master.
Okay.
Which is about playing Dungeons and Dragons. But they've got a song about The Witcher, you know, the book and the TV show. They've got a song that references Highlander, all kinds of stuff like that. They're a great metal band, bunch of young guys. Actually, Jake Rogers, I think is his name, the lead singer. During the pandemic, he did some like podcast and vlog type things, or live stream things. Yeah. He's got thousands of albums and stuff in his house, and it's just fantastic. Real music guy, young guy too. You ought to get him on your show.
Yeah. Is it like, are we talking Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden, or a little harder?
No, you know, just like maybe a combination of those. I mean, he's just, it's, you know, there's guitar solos, great drums. He's got a fantastic deep voice.
Okay.
And just sort of a classic metal sound.
Can you understand the vocals?
100%.
Okay.
You know,
because I don't like that thrash metal.
Yeah, it's not like death metal or thrash metal or black or there's none of that. Nope. Yeah. It's clean vocals, and he's got a fantastic voice.
Okay.
That's Visigoth.
What's it again?
Visigoth.
Visigoth. Okay.
V-I-S-I.
I'm going to check them out.
You check them out.
Yeah. Okay, and let's see. So, as I do each week, I go on. I've talked about this many times. Apple Music. They should be a sponsor of ours. But so I just discovered recently, because I go in there and every Friday, you know, new albums come out. So I go into the new releases, and most of them are. I have to say, most of, like, I always thought Apple Music should know what I'm listening to, and they should pick the new releases that are similar to what I listen to.
Exactly.
Not rap, electronic music. But when I go down, all the way down the page, I found out you can go by genre of new releases.
Oh.
And I didn't know there was like 100 genres. I'm serious. There's like 100 genres now.
I think there's 100 genres just of heavy metal.
Yeah. So, So that's new to me, you know, because I like blues, I like rock, you know, alternative. And now I've had Apple Music for, I don't know, long time and just discovered this. Because there's no instruction booklet, you know, Apple Music, so just got to
look around. I can sit here and laugh, but I'm like the same way trying to look up music. I'm like, I don't know what I'm looking for, how to find it, whatever. But
Apple Music is worth the price, and I know some people also have Amazon Music, maybe. It's the same thing. You know, in that they have like every album like ever recorded.
Yep.
And I pay $16 a month, $17 for three of us, my wife and my son. And I do still buy albums. In fact, we'll start off with, I just got this today. And I don't know, I've been a fan of The Weeknd.
Oh, okay.
And I think it was 2 albums ago when he had that song, what was it called?
Don't ask me.
Okay.
I don't know. I've heard of him, but I couldn't name anything that he does.
Bright Lights or something like that. It sounded like the Aha song, Take On Me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I won't sing it.
So this is the third in a trilogy, I guess. But some people, well, first of all, the new thing is, not new, but is having signed CDs where they aren't really charging that much for the signature, right? And they're not signing the actual CD, but like a little insert.
Oh, yeah, they do like a sticker.
And he has one of the worst signatures, but, you know.
What the heck is that?
I mean, I could have signed that.
It's a scribble.
It's a W. It's a Weeknd.
Is that what that is? It looks like a scribble.
So I got this today, the Weeknd's new Hurry Up Tomorrow. I didn't listen to it yet. And even though I have Apple Music, this is what I'm trying to get at, is that I still buy new out, and I won't listen to this I didn't stream this yet. I want to put it in my CD player. And sometimes with albums, vinyl, I'll buy a new album, and there's a couple artists that I like, pop art, like Halsey, Dua Lipa. I didn't listen to her until I got the album.
Now, do you buy the vinyl and a CD?
Dua Lipa, I bought the vinyl, and then the CD came with a signed insert.
Oh, okay.
You see Dua and Miley. Yeah, there we go.
So I still listen to CDs. That's what I was listening to, Visigoth, in the car on my CD.
But the weekend, the CD was $10 and free shipping.
What?
Like, how do they do it?
That's less than it was like in the 80s.
Yeah. And then you have people like Avril Lavigne, who put out a new album and was charging, I'm not lying, she was charging like $150 for a signed vinyl. I don't even think it was signed. It was probably and then you have Dua Lipa, who is pretty big. She just had a special on TV that was incredible. And I probably paid $15, for the CD.
Wow,
with
that's a bargain.
Insert. Yep. So here's a couple other ones that Lark and Poe. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're two sisters.
Name sounds vaguely familiar.
One plays, guitar, lead guitar, I guess you would say. The other girl plays slide electric guitar.
Nice.
Their album's called Bloom. It's just a great blues album. I think it's their best. This is their 7th album since 2014. Iggy Pop. This isn't new. I think this is actually from a couple years ago, and it's a live album, live at Montreux. And it starts out, I don't have all the songs here, but the first song is called 5'1".
And
it's a song about his height.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a fairly new band to me, Guster. Ooh La Lux, it's called. It's a really good album. It's smooth alternative sound. And the standout song on this is called My Kind. One I just listened to, I think this came out January 31st, is Lily Hyatt, Forever. Now, she is John Hyatt's daughter.
See, I know the name. Sounds familiar.
And her other albums before this are like they're singer-songwriter, folk. This is under rock, and it actually has a different sound. I don't know if she's recorded rock songs before, but I really like this album. Favorite song is Shouldn't Be. And this song has like a grungy guitar like throughout, and kind of like a Liz Phair or Throwing Muses. I don't know if you know that vibe to it.
Nice.
And then Thin Lizzy.
It's a blast from the past.
The acoustic sessions.
What?
A clear vinyl. It's a new Thin Lizzy album featuring stripped back versions of Thin Lizzy classics. And I don't think this is... I looked for this on Apple Music. I couldn't find it. There's only one single on there. So it obviously isn't out yet. Unless they're only putting it out on vinyl, which sometimes they do now.
Oh.
They don't...
Going to force you to buy the vinyl?
I don't know. So previously unheard vocals provided by old recordings of the late Phil Lynott. And not all the material on the album is sourced from archived Thin Lizzy recordings. Founding member Eric Bell has prepared fresh acoustic guitar arrangements for the new album, marking the first time since 1973 that Bell has played on a Thin Lizzy album. And it revisits tracks from Thin Lizzy's first 3 albums and includes stripped back versions of their signature song Whiskey in the Jar.
Also covered by Metallica, among other bands.
So check that out. I like Thin Lizzy.
Yeah.
My
rock band.
Matt's brother-in-law, that's his band. And I haven't seen the guy's tattoos, but apparently on his back, I think he has a full portrait of Phil Lynott on his back.
That's a hardcore fan there.
Yeah. I've got Dua Lipa on... No, I'm just kidding. On my back.
I think I have Tracy Lords on.
Yeah. upcoming releases, February. Well, where are we? Are we on the 7th?
Just past that.
Okay. So these just came out. A band called Drop 19s. It's called 1991. They were the first. Do you know the term shoegaze?
No.
It's where a band uses a lot of effects on a guitar. You know, we could probably say The Edge from U2.
Okay.
But where they're looking down at their shoes to see.
Oh, and
they were called, yeah.
They're pressing the pedals and
Just
stuff.
a lot of effects and let's see. So they're based in Boston. They've been around since 1990. And get this, they released 2 albums and they broke up in 1995. But they reformed in 2022. And they put out an album before this, I think in maybe last year. So this is their 4th album.
Oh, wow. Because I'm guessing there was a great demand for them?
I don't know. I listened to it and I really like it. And it's an acquired taste because it reminds me of it kind of reminded me of bands like Cocteau Twins and This Mortal Coil, kind of where you really can't tell what they're singing. The vocals are kind of in the back. The vocals are behind the music. So
all right, secondary to it.
And it's very spacey, swirling, melodic. Almost The Cure, like Disintegration, the album, like almost that kind of Cure kind of sound. But again, I noticed there's some vocals, but I don't even know if they're saying words or I don't.
Or just harmonizing.
Yeah. Then we have Guided by Voices. Don't know if you've ever heard of them.
Nope.
This is their 41st album since 1987.
What?
Yeah.
That's prolific.
Now, my late friend Ken was a music historian. Unfortunately, he passed away last year. He got me into this band. And they can't be pinned down to one sound. So I think anyone would like this band. They're very prolific. Some of the songs sound like REM. It's not like real heavy stuff. But I think there's something there for everyone. So this is their 41st album, Universe Room, it's called. They put out like 2 albums a year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know? And the guy, unfortunately, I don't know, I forgot the lead singer's name, but he also puts out solo albums. He's got like 30 solo albums. The guy is just like...
How do you write that much?
And they're not bad songs. That's the thing. It's not like he's, just writing to write.
Yeah, wow.
Very prolific. And then Inhaler, Open Wide, it's called. This is their 3rd studio album. This is a fairly new band. They formed in, they actually formed in 2012. And it's their 3rd album. So I think they were doing a lot of probably shows and then
right.
Maybe they're doing cover songs. I don't know. But the lead singer is Elijah Hewson. And who would his father be? Bono.
Oh, okay.
And you can hear Bono in his voice. Yeah, because he's the lead singer. That's probably why I like them. I don't know. So February 14th, we have a new Lumineers album, Automatic, 5th studio album. There's a song called, I haven't listened to any of this, but there's actually a song called Asshole.
Oh.
And the only other song I know, and I just learned this, I watch Jimmy Fallon, right, every night. Just the monologue and a little bit into the guest.
Because you can stay up that late. I can't.
Yeah, and he had Dennis Leary on. And him and Dennis Leary are singing this song, Asshole. And I'm thinking, this is like the stupidest song, right? And I looked it up, and it's an old Dennis Leary song.
Oh.
I guess Dennis Leary put out an album back in the 80s or whenever.
Oh, wow. Right? Didn't even know that.
Yeah. So anyway, but it's not that song. I don't think it's that song. The Lumineers won't do that, Dennis Leary.
Doing a cover of a Dennis Leary song?
Yeah. Neil Young, another, well, this isn't new. Oceanside Countryside. This is the latest of Neil Young's great Lost album to be released as part of his Analog Original series. The album was recorded from May to December 1977 on tape. And these are original mixes done at the time of the recording. Oceanside Countryside will be available on black vinyl, no colors. And it says all Greedy Hand Store, I guess that's his purchases, come with free high-res digital audio downloads from the NYA Download Store. Neil Young audio I don't know. You know. Now Neil Young releases an album every year, or with, Crazy Horse. I love Neil Young. Neil Young was, when I was learning guitar, when I was 15, he was one of the first artists I started, I was learning songs. Those were the first songs that, because they're only 3 chords, Now for the kids out there, Tate McRae.
Who?
She'll release her 3rd studio album, So Close to What, on February 21st. And Lady Gaga will release a new album next month called Mayhem.
I thought it'd be called Apologies for Joker 2.
I want to watch that.
I haven't seen it. It got such bad reviews. Like, oof.
I like a good musical, I have to say. Not that there's anything wrong with that. But I just watched Les Mis again.
All right.
Yeah.
We're actually in the middle of watching Wicked.
Oh, really?
I haven't seen that. Sidetracked by some stuff a couple weeks ago, so we started watching it like 2-3 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
So we have to go back and watch it.
Did you buy the DVD or what?
No, we got it on Amazon, I guess, or whatever we did, or Netflix or something, and so we need to go back and watch it.
Is it the rent or the?
I think we bought it because there's only a few. There were like 4 of us watching, so we figured might as well just buy it for the extra $5 or something.
I'm a big Wizard of Oz fan too.
How can you not be? Great movie.
I've met some of the Munchkins who, nobody's alive.
As you said, I don't think there's anybody alive anymore, right?
Like Jerry Marin.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he was like the mayor, right? Was that who he was?
He was a lollipop kid.
Oh, he was a lollipop kid? All right.
I have a little lollipop doll that he signed. I met some other Munchkins. Actually, the one of them I became friends with, who was he declared the witch dead.
Oh, all right.
He was wearing the blue hat. He would go to shows dressed like that.
That's awesome.
And I would write to him, and I made him notepads. I have a lot of stuff signed by him, and I have letters talking about Judy Garland.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And I got to meet him, and he knew who I was, and he just, because like I said, I made these little notepads for him with his image on them. So anyway,
that's a great story.
But I want to see Wicked. And then here's some other just coming out in March. Jethro Tull, of course.
I'm a
new
big
album.
Jethro Tull fan.
Yeah, I have a friend, Joanne, her husband, Skip. He's from England, and he loves, that's his band, Jethro Tull. And he got to meet, when they live in Florida now, but they were playing in Easton at the State Theater at one time. Mm-hmm. And he got to meet somehow. He got to go backstage, and that was like, wow, especially if that's your band.
Yeah.
I mean, mine is really Cheap Trick, and I've luckily met Robin 3 times now.
Awesome.
I've met Rick twice. Tom I've met, and Dax, Rick's son, I've met a couple, and we've interviewed him, and he knows who I am, and Matt, when he sees us.
That's great.
Yeah. That's what's weird. I've told this story before. Is years ago, I want to say it was like almost 10 years ago, maybe more. I paid for a meet and greet. That's what I was talking about, the shirt. And it was at PNC. And it was behind, you had to go behind the stage and everything.
Right, yep.
It was Joan Jett and Hart. I saw Joan Jett walking around.
See, I I think I was at that show, depending on when it was. If that was the same show, I was there because we had a meet and greet with Hart.
Okay. I want to say it was 2016. Something like that. And so anyway, I paid like $350 to meet Cheap Trick. And you got seats in within the first 10 rows. So we already had seats, my wife and my son. So I had this extra
So
ticket.
you had to buy I've done that.
So I went up there to see Cheap Trick. And then when Joan Jett came on, my wife went and sat up there in the 10th row. You know?
Yeah, so was that September of 2016?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yep.
You were there?
I was there.
Wow.
Wait. Well, here's a picture of us in front of the stage there. But that was the one where I think I may have mentioned to you that Cheap Trick threw out an album.
Okay.
Their album, and it had guitar picks all around it, stuff like that, and it flew. And I was somewhere up in the front or whatever, and I ended up catching that album. So I still have that. It was a signed album and everything.
Okay.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool that we were at the.
Yeah, I forgot what album they just finished recording a new album again. And their last couple albums are just like Robin's voice is still incredible.
They were fantastic in concert. I remember that time.
Yeah. But, I paid like $350 for the meet and greet, which, like I said, included a ticket, which isn't too bad, Well,
yeah, no, not at all.
That was 2016.
I feel like I paid more than that for Hart.
But then 2-3 years ago, I haven't seen them in a couple of years. They were playing in Reading at this little theater, and it was like February. It was cold out, like it is now. And they couldn't get their bus back behind the theater. And we just walked back there, me and Jeremy. Jeremy won. Yeah. And there's Robin talking to some kid, 18-year-old, 17-year-old kid. He's just learning guitar. It's like out of a movie, and there's Rick and Dax, sees us, and I didn't have to pay. Now I can, I'm pretty much, if it's a small theater they're playing, I can pretty much
just go up there.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so
look at you with the connections there. Nice.
Yeah. Well, Dax is he's been drummer for like 13 years now, 14 years, after Bunny, the original drummer, left. And he recorded, I asked some people that we interview for our holiday show to record, if they could record something, like wishing our listeners happy holidays. And Dax not only did that, he did a video, for me.
Nice.
And if you go on Cameo, he's charging $50 for a cameo, and he
just did that.
Yeah.
Good for him. That's great. It's nice when the stars do things like that.
And that's the fun of this, we hardly make I don't make any money. We do have some ads because we're getting more and more listeners, and but we're talking like a couple bucks here, a couple bucks there.
All right, there you go.
But so anyway, so other albums in March. Let's see, we got the Wiggles. Remember them?
Oh wow!
For the kids, the kids now are grown up. My son watched the Wiggles. He's now 21. Coheed and Cambria. I know Matt is in the
Yep.
Japanese Breakfast, which I keep hearing about. I think they were on Jimmy Fallon the other night. My Morning Jacket. One I can't wait is The Darkness. I'm a big The Darkness. Their new song. I think it's called. Again, I should have written this down. I think it's called. I Hate Myself. And it's basically the lead singer. I think it's in black and white. And he's just sitting there the whole time smoking a cigarette and just deadpan into the camera singing the song. And it's a rocking song. And I can't get enough of it. I like this
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. And then another girl I've been listening to for a couple of years. Lucy Dacus. She's what I call a moody girl music.
Okay.
Like Phoebe Bridgers. Phoebe formed Boy Genius, a band, But I don't know if you know Phoebe Bridgers.
Yep.
Whatever she sings, you just feel like you want to cry. There's only a couple songs that make me cry when I hear them. And one is her song. It's called Funeral. So,
Ooh.
yeah. So you can imagine. I can't listen to that song. Yeah. Anyway. So I think that does it. I want to thank Jeremy once again for coming over here.
Well, thank you for inviting me. This has been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed it.
You know, Jeremy's
2 shows.
Yeah. Jeremy's, got on a plane early this morning. He took a boat and then he took a car to get here.
It's been I've been up for like 24 hours traveling just to get here.
Yeah, now you got to go back.
Yep, turn around, but that's what I do.
No, Jeremy lives sort of closer than Jeremy one. Probably the same distance as Matt. Matt lives in Fountain Hill near Bethlehem. It's like 40 minutes, 45 minutes. Yeah,
I'm like 45 minutes away.
Yeah. So Jeremy, again, anybody who wants to send us music for our Give It a Listen segment, just send it to nogoodmusicpodcast@gmail.com. And again, check out Macabre Mountain, which Jeremy is in, and our good friend Xander Goldman.
Yes, Macabre Mountain. It's on Tubi, Hulu. I think
Pluto,
also on Amazon Prime.
Pluto,
I think.
Freevee, or there's all.
There's so many things.
Yeah.
Shudder. I don't know.
Macabre Mountain, horror movie. And I don't want to put down independent films, but for an independent film, it's a really good film. It's a really good film.
Yeah, well, independent films, I mean, first of all, people work really, really hard and, often with not a lot of money.
Yeah.
But some of them, they can be very hit or miss.
Oh, yeah.
Some of them spend $50,000 and it looks like it's $250.
Yeah.
Some of them spend $150,000. It looks like it's 10.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It depends on where you put the money, I guess.
But yeah, no, Macabre Mountain, I mean, I'm a little biased, but it's a great movie.
Yeah.
Check it out.
And go on Indiegogo.com, look up Crimson with a Z, Harvest. If you want to donate, they'll be filming starting in May.
Starting in May in Blairstown, New Jersey, the filming location of Friday the 13th.
Yeah. So thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks for having me here.
And remember,
turn off the TV
and turn up the music. You've been listening to No Good Music. Today's show was produced by Rob J. Lilly and recorded live and unedited at the Did You Say 7 Studios in Washington, New Jersey. You can find No Good Music on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and almost anywhere you listen to podcasts. Intro and exit music by the band 99%.